when you teach a user I and my, and we and our, and we and us, and I and me, that this is part of something you start doing in morning circle very early on, and you continue doing it, and you say, give it to John, give it to him, give it to, her. Okay, you can pass, who does this, okay, well now we're going to do one more here. Mine. Mine is much longer than my. It's a couple extra letters. Yours has an extra letter. His is the same, but hers has an extra letter. Its is the same, ours has an extra letter. So these are all pretty much heavier. So I'm going to suggest these are possessives, all right, like mine, but they go downhill. So hit the luggage tag and I.
Mine.
Yours. Or yours.
Yours.
Hers.
Yours. Hers.
Ours.
Ours.
Theirs.
Theirs.
Okay. Folks, do we see what we've done now? You see this? We have I, me, my, mine, and mine. I, me, my, and mine. What you do, you go up and you say, in morning circle, you're the AAC user. You'll say, whose cup is this? And what would you say? Mine. And whose drink is this? Her. Okay. I'm suggesting that you focus on this kind of a language exercise day after day after day, and I don't mean for the whole morning circle. I just mean in a mixed special ed class or in a regular ed class. Your augmented communicator's job is saying mine and his, and you take some. It's mine, you say, and then you get them to say not yours, hers. And you model this, and you do it on the machine by saying not yours, hers. And you get some of the other kids, the able-bodied kids, or the typically developed kids, to do this. It is a very powerful stimulant. And myself is an object because I can hit the desk, or I can hit myself. So that's an object. So the way we do it is you hit object and I.
Myself.
Ourselves.
Ourselves.
Themselves.
Themselves.
Itself.
Itself.
It's excellent work. Guys, you see what we're doing here? Okay. Now, we are using polysemous icons because they don't all mean the same thing, but when they're used in different contexts, they have different meanings. Wouldn't a univocal icon set for the pronouns be better and easier? Well, I'm going to suggest to you that it's not easier, and I'm going to show you a univocal icon set. Mayor Johnson does not have all the pronouns, but because Dynasims were developed from Faith Carlson's PicSims, they do. And I'm going to show you what they look like in Joan Bruno's Gateway. Here they are. Would you like to teach that?
That's what I said, I've never seen it that far away.
Yeah.
From back here, it's like,
Yeah.
Shoot man, shoot
It
girl.
does look like that. Bang, bang.
I've never been.
You're an object. Okay, let's do an analysis of it. The iconographics here are a bit difficult because these words are not picture producers. Her and hers, you see, her book could be possessive, but it isn't. Here is the possessive is shown as hers, as herself. Hers, herself. Okay, look at the difference between our and ours. See, here the object being possessed is held by one finger, and here it's held by 4 fingers. And on this one, the ear is on the left, on the right-hand side, and this one it's on the left-hand side. Could I submit to you that the rationales for these icons are very difficult for kids with cognitive limitations or early on, and if they don't read, you know, it becomes really kind of a puzzle. Okay, now, I'm sorry they don't look clearer, but, okay. Am I making my point that with univocal icons, you don't necessarily get true concreteness at all? And in areas like this, they are considerably, which is easier? This or this? This requires 2 hits, and these are polysemous. Each of these require 1 hit, and they're univocal. I think, however, the polysemy here gives us 2 advantages. 1, 2 hits, it lets us know that I and possessive, you know, it is fairly clear about that. But because it gives you 2 hits, you get so many more meanings out of the 9 icons here. Can you have all of these on your overlay at all times? So these have got to disappear, haven't they? Whereas these can be on your overlay at all times. Okay, now, this is a beginning introduction to polysemous icons. Can anyone take the word polysemous apart? Poly means many. Sem is the Greek word meaning meaning, and we get semantic from it. We get semaphore. What else? Notice I looked to the man, you know, I said semaphore, because we guys, we know about these things. God, that was unconscious. Hayden, we know about semaphore? Okay. Okay, thank you. Excellent job. Now we're going to look some more here. Have you ever used the system?
Not a whole lot.
Well, let's try. So good. Now, I'm going to show you how to represent other words, and I'm going to do these in semantic networks. We're going to start off with the elephant. Do we all see the elephant on our overlay? You see it? Here, I'll show it to you. Here it is. You see it? Okay. You see the blue adjectives? Okay. What's your name?
Kathy.
Kathy. Kathy, would you hit elephant and adjective?
Big.
Make it say bigger.
Bigger.
Biggest.
Biggest.
You see what Kathy's doing? All right. Guys, when did kids start using the degrees of comparison of an adjective? That's actually Brown stage 2. You know, okay, let's do another one. Thumbs up. Hit thumbs up an adjective.
Good.
Make it say better.
Better.
Best.
Best.
How would it say bad? Worse.
Worst.
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 Guys, do we see what's happening here? Good, better, best, bad, worse, worst, big, bigger, biggest. Now, I want to show you the network around elephant. Elephant itself means big. Would you hit elephant and these scales here? And now hit adjective.
Heavy.
Get it? Heavy. We're going to have all of the tall, all the big measures. We're going to have tall. We're going to have other things like that. Okay, but now I would like you to hit elephant and thumbs up. Now, elephants, they're strong. Okay, elephants are strong. Let's not jump the gun. Okay. Elephants can be strong, going up. You know, they build circuses, or they can be. See how they're strong. Weak. They can say weak.
Weak.
They can say weaker.
Weaker.
Okay. You see what? You see how this is kind of a little predictable engine down here? It just sort of just chugs along. And folks, it does that all over the system. Now, an elephant, if it's strong, can lift something. That's an action word. You see these green keys? These are action words. Kathy, would you hit elephant, thumbs up, and this key, a green key.
Lift.
Lift. Make it say lifting.
Lifting.
Make it say lifted.
Lifted.
Great. How would you make it say drop?
Drop.
Dropped.
Drop.
Beautiful. Beautiful job. Thank you. Are we see how we're having two icons come together to mean something? By the way, what is a graphic for wheat? Can you picture wheat? Okay, shriveled little person. If I saw a shriveled little person, I don't know that I'd say weak. But if I saw a way to say strong and I saw its obvious opposite, what I'm suggesting here is we're not losing by sequencing. We're making them just a little clearer than if they were one, picture from which you were trying to get everything from it. Okay, let's see. Which one?
They want it. Oh, you're discussing everything. You guys should have it. Go for it. Discussing each other.
You're going to get it. Okay. Okay. Now, what's your name?
Melanie.
Melanie, and your name?
When?
Gwen.
I can avoid that.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Melanie, would you hit the apple and the green verb?
Eat.
Now, make it say all the forms of eat by hitting apple and the next green key.
Eat. Eating. Ate. Eaten.
Yeah.
Is that it?
No, hit apple again.
Eat.
To eat. Okay. Eat, eats, eating, ate, eaten, to eat. Now, Gwen, would you hit apple and dog? See the dog 2 keys away?
Yes.
Okay. Now hit verb.
Bite.
Bite. Now make it say bites.
Bites.
Biting.
Biting.
Bit.
Bit.
Bitten.
Bitten.
To bite.
To bite.
All right. Guys, you see what we mean by polysemy? And now semantic networks. It's all the things around elephant and all the things around apple. I hesitate to do this one here, but you see the saguaro cactus? You see the saguaro cactus? I've always been an admirer of those life forms. Melanie, would you hit apple and the saguaro cactus? And now, would you hit the dog?
Burrito.
Burrito. Apple and the cactus is going to be for Mexican or Tex-Mex food. Okay, Melanie, hit apple and the cactus. Now, could you show everyone what keys are illuminated by holding it up and turning it around? You see, only a relatively small, look at this, only a relatively small number of keys are lit up. And what that does is very important. It's called icon prediction. What would that do for a scanner? That would mean that you don't have to scan through this whole board. In fact, after you hit apple, there are relatively few spots. Then when you hit cactus, there are, only a half dozen more. Would you take us through, okay, what do you think apple, cactus, and this triangle would mean? Try it.
Nacho.
It's a nacho. Would you tell us what keys you're pressing and then go through it? Apple, cactus, and which key are you going to press now? The ear.
Enchilada.
Enchilada. Starts with an E. And doesn't that kind of look like an enchilada?
Apple, cactus, and the treasure.
Refried beans.
You see, it's all brown and they come in, it's refried beans.
Sunshine. Sunrise.
Taco.
You see how that looks like a taco? See the little black, it looks like a hard shell taco? Oh, Cindy, it does.
Salsa.
All right, guys, now, we only have a half dozen of those foods in here, but if you had someone who really liked Mexican or Tex-Mex food, you could put, many, many of them here, and it would be very simple, boom, boom, and then it all lights up, and then you go from there. That, again, is an example of a semantic network. I don't know. Okay, we need to do a couple more things. You guys have been one of you is Julia Child and the other is Martha Stewart.
Yeah, right there on the end.
Stop it.
The one that knows.
Okay. Okay. Now, what we're going to do here is those pesky words that we kept seeing that early language users used so many of. I'll do this in purple because I need two colors. I'll do it in, well, purple and red. Let's see what happens. Okay. The quantifiers generally in any every, no, some. These words relate to a series of words in English to form one of the most common groups of words in English: body, time, thing, way, one, how, place, and others. Where? These words taken together, anybody, anytime, anything, anyway, anyone, anyhow, anyplace, anywhere. These are common. Somewhere, someplace, somehow, someone, someway, something, sometime, somebody. Remember when we were looking at the preschool language, how they had these words? Well, we have to figure out some way of working with them. And we're going to take the A for all the any words, the E for all the every words, the N for the N words, and the S for the S words. Okay, Cindy, would you hit the A? Okay. And now, over here we have the boy, and boy and body sort of look, they're only one letter off, but the boy is stepping into the swimming pool so you can see his whole body. So hit A and boy. You see boy at key 8?
Anybody.
Now, Cindy, make it say everybody. E. The boy again.
Everybody.
Nobody. The N.
Nobody.
And somebody. S.
Somebody.
Do you see what's happened here? All of you seem to be engaged in other things. You aren't floating away, are you? You're all alive, into it. Okay.
We were just talking about the fact that Gail has such a nice stuff. I was whispering that on her website. She has such a wonderful little flip thing about anything, anyone, where you can flip any, every, some, no, and then one, buddy, so on and so forth.
That's on the wheel.
It's on the wheel, that's right, the wheel.
Oh, it's a wheel.
The other one's the flip. The other one's the flip. Sorry, anyway.
Guys, there are brilliant ways of teaching this. And a lot of them are fun. This is even kind of enjoyable. Let's do the next one. Let's do time. And you see, Cindy, the watch right under the apple. Okay. Okay, would you hit A and the watch?
Anytime.
Every time.
Every time.
No time.
Working on it.
No time.
Sometime.
Sometime.
Now, guys, did you notice that Cindy was having a hard time finding them because there are many items on the board, but that the second time through, she was getting used to the key placement. Guys, this is the beginning of motor planning. And this is why we can have 128 keys on one overlay, because you don't have to keep switching overlays. And finally, you get both a body plan and a visual plan, and as you get to know the board more and more, it doesn't change on you. Suppose you were doing a page now to go to the doctor's office, and you see what I mean, and you had to do a separate page, all those positions are going to be new. But here, anything you want to say in a doctor's office, you can say in core vocabulary, and all the positions will be old. They'll be where they always are. And, okay, thing. Cindy will do it to you one more time. Thing is the truck. See the blue truck? It's semicolon. Find it?
Found it.
Okay, make it say anything.
Anything.
Everything.
Everything.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Something.
Something.
All right. I believe it's coming clear how we can do these, and you can do all of them. I think many of you already know Unity. By the way, let me tell you the difference between Minspeak and Unity. Minspeak is the name I gave as a commercial name back in 1980 to this whole system. To the system of using polysemous icons in short sequences on a single overlay to express everything. And then, after a while, we thought every speech pathologist, like we do now with the multi-folder systems, would want to make up his or her own vocabulary. But what we found was it was driving everyone crazy, that you just didn't have time to do it, and it was sort of self-defeating because, you know, before your vocabulary was completely designed, you'd be on to the next therapist, and this was just really a massive problem. So I did one system for Jim Prentice that we called Words Mode, which was Minspeak working as Words Mode. And I went around like Diogenes looking for the honest person, and Caroline Musselwhite was in an audience in North Carolina, and she suggested we call it Word Strategy. Well, I love the idea. I thought it was brilliant. We called that Word Strategy, and it was just a system that I had been working on for a user whose name was Jim Prentice. But Barry Rolnix had noticed that, geez, we could, you know, do this, and, you know, more than one person could use it, so we made it into a software. And then Gail Van Takenhoe, we asked Gail to do one called Power and Play, and that was an 8-location for kids with cognitive limitations. And then Joan Bruno did one called Interaction, Education, and Play. And these were all different application programs that you would download, and you had an overlay to put on. And then we discovered that there were many different ones. And people were having a great deal of trouble transitioning from Joan's software into Word Strategy. I mean, Caroline worked on this problem with us. We had transition issues everywhere. And so we basically collapsed the whole idea. We collapsed trying to do transition softwares and decided we would do one application program, and we named it Unity. Okay? We named it Unity. And that's why this is called Unity. So you wonder why we're talking about Minspeak and then we're talking about Unity. Unity is an application program developed for all age groups using the old Word Strategy, basically. But it's using Minspeak, which is the technique itself. Okay. I don't think I need to show you much more about Unity, but it does all sorts of wonderful things. And it enables you to talk at a terrific rate. Who, Cindy, we need to show people one more thing. Whom should I give it to? Okay.
We have a nomination
By
for the
popular
floor.
demand. Okay, are you familiar? Okay. Okay, we're going to be doing the pronouns and so auxiliary verbs.
Yeah,
Oh, very good.
Great.
we can start these over here. This is the pronoun
Yeah.
list.
Okay.
This is the indefinite pronoun wheel of any every, just so that you guys can take a look at these.
And aren't these are free downloads
Freebies.
from Gail's website, which is www.vantakenhoe.com?
Yes.
And I also have a couple other things out there.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
www.vantakenhoe.com, And she is going to be here. We'd like to do a little advertisement here. She's just a wonderful clinician who just is an absolutely excellent presenter. And she's one of our keynote speakers in Phoenix at AAC in the Pines. Oops, no, it's AAC in the Saguaros because it's not in Flagstaff this year. It's in Phoenix.
It's in Litchfield Park.
It's in Litchfield Park. I could walk. And Gail Van Hagen
How
is
did you
one of our
pick Litchfield
keynote
Park?
speakers.
Because Caroline can walk there.
I can walk. Is that great? And,
Guys, look, here it is.
and so that's going to be June, I don't know, like 8th and 9th. So if you're on this list, if you filled out the form, you will get
It's gonna be
information
June
about it.
13th and 14th.
June 13th and 14th, it's a Monday and Tuesday, and there are going to be lots of great speakers, and Gail is one of them. We are very excited.
She's a practicing clinician and theorist and a publisher, and www.vantatenhove.com, and you'll find all sorts of things on her website, and she replies to emails as well. Okay, what's your name?
Debbie.
Debbie. Okay, I would like Debbie to show us the next thing. We're going to do here. I've got to do this. I've got to get you a screen up there that's better than what I'm doing now. Do you see the screen? Will you have, we can refer to it jointly now. Debbie, you see the pronouns I and you, and you see this bee, this queen bee here at Q? Man, is she a powerful queen bee. She likes to say, I am. Okay, Debbie, would you hit I and the queen bee, please?
I am.
Would you hit you and the queen bee?
You are.
He and the queen bee.
He is.
Okay, make it say she is.
She is.
It is.
That's what's on that little flip chart that's going on.
It
There
is.
was that telling president.
We are.
We are.
You are. Or, no, we are, they are.
They are.
All right, now that we've seen that, now, would you hit that backwards, Deb? Would you hit the queen bee and I?
And I.
Make it say, are they?
Are they?
Is she?
Is she?
Okay, now, you see this wooden house that's made of wood? Would you hit I in the wood house?
I would.
Make it say, would they?
Would they?
Guys, do you see what's happening here? I don't know that we have to go on with this other than to say this is the tied rope knot, and it means not. And Debbie, would you hit the house, the knot, and the U? Not.
Would you?
See, wouldn't you? You see the string, the finger with the string tied around it? That's for do. Would you make it say, I do? Fingers at R.
Thank you.
Do I? I do.
Don't they? That would be the
Do they? They do.
not.
Not.
Okay. Okay. It's the finger, the knot, and the U.
They do. Not.
No, it's the finger, the knot, finger. Okay, knot. Yeah. Now the pronoun.
Don't they?
Okay, got it. Guys, did we talk about how important being able to say she does and don't they is, you know, they don't. When does that get to be crucially important? Around stage 3, when they start asking questions. What's the question form of she ate at home? It's not she ate not at home. She ate not. She didn't eat at home. Are you all with? I was trying to explain to an Islamic friend who was very enthusiastic about wouldn't move just hearing words from the Arabic is the Quran sent him to, and I said, the minute I hear words with King James word choice and diction, I have that religious feeling immediately because I'm so used to it. And I said my favorite example of that is a key from the bottom of the deck that President Kennedy's speechwriter did. It should be, don't ask what you can do for your country. But what did he say? Ask not. You know, it was very interesting because that takes us, we don't say, talk not to the girl sitting next to you. We say, don't talk to Suzanne, you know, talk not, you know. And we don't even know this trick is being played on us. I mean, you know, but you know, this is very interesting with language. So, folks, do is crucially important. And if you have this whole thing, one of the things you can do when you're teaching the question words is teach this little I do, I don't, do I, don't I. And you'll be able to have this structure just sitting there and ask questions with typical language. Very, very important. Okay. All right, I believe that we have more or less finished our section on iconicity here. And I have a good feeling that you understand everything I wanted to say to you. Let me just give a bit of a summary. Let's try this. Single meaning and multi-meaning pictures contrasted. Single meaning pictures are not concrete for most common words. But you know, we kind of think they are because we see the word written on it. You know, we trick ourselves there. Single meaning pictures require many pages to represent a small vocabulary. You know, you have to keep page after page. Multi-meaning pictures can all be placed on a single page. Man, that is a super advantage. Multi-meaning pictures can introduce early word forms used by toddlers. Young children are motivated by such words as mine, rather than by such words as chocolate cake. Early two-word combinations are constructed around the word it, the word mine, and a whole series of other little words that you get in pronoun from pivot grammar. You bad, you know. Want you. You know, I mean, you is another pivot word. Okay. Many common early words are not represented on single meaning systems because they are not picture producers. You know, and okay, so guys, the next thing I want to talk about is navigation, and what I would like to do is I would like to suggest if we can take a 10-minute break, then we can get back and, you know, if we make it 10 minutes, and we might not have to go all the way to 4 o'clock. Is Deanna out here? Yeah. Okay. All right, 10 minutes. Okay. See you at 22. I'm afraid I'm just going to have to go back rather plunkily and air it out. But we're back together now, and we are entering into the next phase, a very important phase of understanding the difference between the multi-folder, multi-page approach and the single meaning polysemous approach. And I'm going to talk about something called navigation here. Let me define it for you. Navigation, sequencing, motor planning, and then this will impact reading. But navigation, I'm calling that going from page to page. Sequencing, I'm talking about being on a single page and hitting 2 keys in a row or 3 keys. Okay, now, in a sense, navigation is sequencing too. And in a sense, sequencing is navigation too. So I'm using these terms when I say navigation, I mean going from page to page. And when I use sequencing, I'm using it as a couple hits on a single page. Okay. Now, many of us have seen descriptions like this of how computers with single meaning pictures operate. It's very straightforward, and it gives you a master page here, and then if you want to talk about something in circle time, you hit on your master page. On your master page, you select circle time, and then you're down here, and then you have the things to say about circle time. Okay? And then if you want to talk about close, you have your close here, and then here might be a series of phrases and sentences for trips to the beach, for going to the doctor's office, for going to the movies, going to the, any kind of trips that you might do. And then off here would be some special vocabulary pages, like 12 zoo animals, 10 zoo animals, and a couple navigation pages. We're all familiar with this approach to representing language, I think. Well, it looks very straightforward and rational at this level, but I'm just portraying 4 pages. How many of you have seen systems that had 100 or more pages? How many of you have seen systems that had a couple hundred pages? Yeah, I've seen some hands raising. Yes, I've seen page systems with 3 or more hundred pages, and that's what actually happens. And this plan that starts out this way gets very kind of confused and actually becomes more like this system. Okay. Now, this is from my German slide. Die Systeme mit mehreren Ebenen hierarchischen Arbeiten. It's how systems with many pages work. And I never got this part of it translated, but this is what they really look like, isn't it? Your master page, you can take you to the school bus or to circle time. And then from circle time, you need days of the week or weather. And from circle time, you also can deal with holidays and then, birthdays. And there's getting dressed, and there's winter clothes and dressy church clothes, and there's activities, and then there's the zoo and the doctor's office and the movie, and there's the zoo animals, zoo food, reptiles, and then from the doctor's office there's the hospital, and over here movies is an activity, and grocery store, and airplane. And folks, this is just the beginning, isn't it? So this is how I'm calling this multi-page, multi-folder hierarchy works. And we do this for iconicity's sake, because we want concrete representations. And I'm going to suggest that this is going to get us into a lot of trouble. And I'm going to show you a system now that is very, and also one of the great canards is that if you do it well at the outset, you won't have problems later on. It reminds me of those things that they tell you, you know, if you stand on your toes for 8 hours a day, you know, you can cure baldness. And, you know, and then you say, I've been standing on my toes for 8 hours a day for 14 months. And they say, we know. Last Wednesday, you were off for 5 minutes. You got to do what they tell you, you know. And so what I'm going to suggest is that this is what almost always happens, and I'm going to show you a brilliantly set up, fully functioning version of a multi-page, multi-folder hierarchy, and I've selected the best one I know going, Joan Bruno's Gateway 75. And I'll show you more or less what's going to happen there, and we're going to look I'm getting a little lost in my own pagination. There we go. Now I'm going to show you, this is a good one, but I'm going to show you when you get a robust vocabulary, what actually happens in a multi-page, multi-folder system. And it gets very hairy. And this is work done by a very experienced clinician who knows language, etc. And here we go. We're going to say my turn. Okay, we're going to say my turn. And how would we go about saying my turn? Well, first thing we're going to hit would be pronouns, correct? Now, how are we going to select turn? Well, turn is a verb or an action word, or can be a noun. In this case, it's my turn. It is a noun, but it's an action word. And so we're actually going to find it under verbs. Now, on a single-page system, it is 2 hits, and I'll show that to you later. But here we're going to select verbs, and verbs are going to take us to the verbs page. Very straightforward. Now, how would you do if you were a weak reader here?
Very good.
Yeah, this is hard now. And in fact, it's very difficult to tell whether this has turn or not. Maybe that means turn. So many things could mean turn. And if you're not reading, okay. So, but you soon find that turn, you'd soon note that this is in alphabetical order, and turn isn't there, so you go to more actions, and here we get more actions, and we who are readers know that this isn't turn, and that this is leap, and so then we select, and then here we find turn. Select turn, okay. Okay. You see, very well organized. Everything is there. Everything is where it's supposed to be. All the little folders are nicely done across here. These are environments that aren't full. I mean, you know, this is not schmuckes, which is Yiddish for rags. Is that okay? Okay. Yes, this is not rags. This is very well done. And but do you see how hard my turn was? Now let me show you what actually happened here. You got the master screen, then you selected the pronoun screen from the master screen, then you selected the pronoun my, then you have to select, after you selected the pronoun, you have to select the verb screen from, you know, from the master screen, then you have to go down one and then down two on the verb screen, and then you have to go back to the master screen. And it was 2 words and 6 hits. Now, 2 words and 6 hits is actually not bad. Why isn't it bad? Well, the average English word has approximately 5.5 letters. And if you add the space to it, that's, you know, 6 letters, 6.5 letters, and 2 words would average approximately 12 letters, which would be 12 selections if you were spelling. So to get 2 words for 6 hits, if you average every 6 hits you get 2 words, that's not bad. I mean, that's not the best, but that's not bad. That's more than a 50% reduction over keystrokes.
How did you get 12 hits for spelling it?
What?
You just said it would take 12 hits to spell it? Need
Average.
Average.
Oh, an average word would have 6, okay.
Average word would have 6 plus a tiny, you know.
Okay.
So if every time you got 2 words out of Gateway, you did 6 hits, you know, this would not be a bad, you know, a bad time. Okay. Now, however, your eye had to readjust half a dozen times to different pages. And all in all, there were over 250 graphics you had to go for. That's a lot. Now, I'm going to show you how to do my turn on a Pathfinder, and we'll get it up. And why don't you do it for us? It's so conveniently placed here. Okay. Why don't you hit the drinks key? You know, this is the key down here, J, and then hit verb. Verb, green.
Drink.
Make it say drinks. Verb. No, we hit verb first. No, I mean hit drink first. Now hit verb.
Drink.
Now hit picture. You know, hit the drink key, the one with the drink on it, and now hit the next key that has
Drinks.
Okay, make it say drinking.
Drinking.
Drank.
Drank.
You see what's happening here? We've eaten, ate, you know, drink, drank. Okay, now, this key down here, you see return, you see the circles on it? This key is turn. So would you hit that key and verb?
Turn.
Make it say turns.
Turn.
Turning.
Turning.
Turned.
Turn.
Okay, you see what's right there. Okay, now clear display down the bottom. Make it say my turn. Remember how the pronouns go? I.
Possessive.
My.
Okay, clear display.
My.
Hit verb.
Turn.
Now hit speak display, which is up here.
My turn.
How many hits? My
Was 2. Turn was 1. Speak
turn.
was
4. Okay. Do we see how it works? Okay. Let's put some of this. Okay, now, selecting my turn on Unity 128. You see it there, my turn. My turn. How many verbs do you think we have on this page? Well, there's a verb for every key, and then, like for elephant, there's lift, drop, weigh. You know, for apple, there's eat, bite. So there are lots of verbs here, and they're all on this page. And how many of your pronouns are on this page? All of your pronouns are on this page. And you'll be on this page forever and ever, and it'll never change. How would you like a keyboard that every time you struck a key, it reconfigured so it would give you the letters most likely to occur under your right, under your forefinger? Would you like that? Would that be better than typing like this? I don't think so. You see, because if you every time you hit a key, and then the next key would be right, you know, in the next so some of these remedies of moving keys to convenient positions that we gladly provide for our friends and neighbors with disabilities, we ourselves wouldn't like because we love our own motor planning. But, okay. What I want to talk about here is now the idea that Minspeak overlays, or the Unity overlay in particular, is too busy. I'm just going to suggest that when all the keys stay stable and you get used to them, the busyness does not become a serious or significant factor. Because you get used to it, you get the motor plan of where they are. We're going to talk a lot more about that. And it's always the same 128 graphics. But here, oh my Lord, the graphics keep changing, and you're introduced to lots and lots of graphics you've got to recognize passively. Okay. Now, I would like to talk about motor planning a bit. I've been mentioning it on and off throughout the day. And motor planning is, what is it? Well, motor plans are neuronal pathways in the central and peripheral nervous systems that facilitate ease and accuracy in the execution of any movement. That's the definition of a motor plan. You know what they are. You know, you alter your neuronal structures with certain connections that go all the way from the brain to the peripheral nervous system, and it allows you to touch type. You know what? Okay, what else can you do that's highly motor plan? Speaking. You know, the motor plan involved in saying ponderosa is just incredible. Ponderosa. The articulatory apparatus is one of the most complex viscous mechanical systems ever devised. Okay, I once heard an engineer call the throat a viscous mechanical machine, and I've loved it ever since. A viscous mechanical apparatus. Okay. These are what motor plans are. And are motor plans involved in sign language? Oh boy, you know, and the more you do it, the better, the easier it gets, isn't it? The more you do it, the easier it gets. Okay. What about the more new pages you add, the easier it gets? You're still stuck at primary learning tasks for the new page. Okay. Motor plans are not conscious. We talked about, I'm not saying, now I'm going to tighten my gastrocnemius a bit, and we just don't do any of that. Motor plans are automatic or semi-automatic.